What's going on, YouTube? It's Logan Prater here, back for another video. It's been a while. Um, I'm I'm kind of stoked to be back in front of the camera again. You know, it's been about what 3.5 months since I uploaded a video or something like that. You know, I had to kind of step away for a little while because I had to start focusing on school and work and that kind of stuff, and I just didn't have a lot of time to do the whole YouTube thing or do any of the streams anymore. And yeah, so you know, now I'm off for summer break and I've got nothing but time, so I've got all the time in the world to make these videos again for you guys, which of course I love to do. And of course, just because I stopped making videos uh, didn't mean that I stopped buying music. I kept that going during the last couple months, and I'm gonna show in one just kind of big collection update. I'm just gonna show you everything that I've accumulated over the past couple months. Um, I mean, I don't have any notes for this. I'm just kind of gonna try and kind of do this off the cuff. So let's just see how it goes. Again, I'm excited to be back in front of the camera, making videos again, and yeah, let's just jump right into it. So first, we're gonna get this one out of the way. Found this one at a flea market, and it was for pretty cheap, but I just it was I just wanted to have something like this in my collection because I knew a lot of the songs off of it, but it's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame original artists. It's got a Marvin Gaye song on here, Ray Charles, B.B. King, Chuck Berry, Buddy Holly, Little Richard, Fats Domino, the Big Bopper, Bill Haley and the Comets, Richie Valens, Roy Orbison, all the kind of classic kind of golden age of rock and roll artists are on this compilation. It's 2 CDs, but yeah, I just thought I would show this one first, kind of get it out of the way. But I mean, it's just something cool to have in the collection, because I don't ever see myself buying any full lengths from these artists, but I do like a lot of the songs they put out. So yeah, it's just kind of good to have a lot of them all on one CD. So yeah, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame original artists compilation. Pretty cool stuff. So next is this is some stuff that I actually got as a gift on Valentine's Day. So that's going all the way back to then, um, when I stopped making videos. This was kind of the first batch of things that I got. These next three. So this first one is Nile with their 2015 release, What Should Not Be Unearthed. This one's off Nuclear Blast. Of course, everybody knows Nile. You kind of know what you're getting with this one. It's fast, ferocious, technical, well written, death metal, super brutal. Just again, they're one of the most consistent bands in the genre. I mean, Call to Destruction is awesome. In the Name of Amun is awesome. The title track is good. Yeah, it's just a really solid modern death metal release from some legends. I mean, these guys are awesome. I've seen them 3 times, and they've never disappointed, and I just really love this band. So yeah, Nile with What Should Not Be Unearthed. Making sure I don't fuck that one up. And next is this is a band that I've really gotten into in the last probably year and a half. And yeah, I've come to they're probably a top 20 band for me now, and the more I listen to them, they're probably a top 10 band for me. I could see them becoming one in the future. And we're talking about Opeth, and this is their album Still Life from 1999. This one's off Peaceville. It's got the slip cover on it. Just great stuff. It's one of their better albums. It's very consistent. I mean, the more God's Head Lament, Benighted, Moonlapse Vertigo, Face of Melinda, just killer stuff. Yeah, it's so awesome. Uh, but yeah, I mean, you guys all know Opeth just like Nile. I mean, they're legends. Um, but yeah, of course, if you haven't heard it, check it out. That's Opeth with Still Life. Next up, this one this one is a release from one of my favorite bands. It's actually is one of my two favorite bands, and that being Kiss. And this is their live album MTV Unplugged. This was a partial recording of their set that they did for the MTV Unplugged in 1995. I didn't have this one. It's really good. This show was what kind of kick-started the talks of the reunion of the original lineup. There's a legendary show. I think every Kiss fan should own this, and now that I've got all the studio albums in my collection now, which I completed with Lick It Up, which I know I showed in one of my earlier videos, but I can start focusing on getting all the live stuff, all the solo stuff, all the compilations, and that kind of stuff. And of course, my ultimate goal is to have everything from this band at some point. And so yeah, this is just putting another kind of or filling another hole in that collection. So yeah, Kiss with MTV Unplugged. It's really killer stuff. Check it out. Moving on, this is a release from a kind of a artist that I've rediscovered in the last couple months. When we did the top 10 list for him on Disheveled by Dawn's channel. Go check them out. I'll leave a link below. But I've really rediscovered how good this artist is, and that's Alice Cooper, and this is his 2021 album, Detroit Stories. This is a fun album. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites. It's definitely not one of my least favorites. It's just kind of another album from him. Of course, Paranormal from 2017, I really, really liked by him. I would say I don't like this one as much, but it's still a great, really fun kind of just rock album. I would say my favorite song off here is "Wonderful, Wonderful World." Just when he sings in that kind of like, it's almost like this kind of Johnny Cash style, which he doesn't do very often. But when he does it, I love it, and he does that on that song, and it totally rules. But yeah, just there's some other good stuff on here, but that one is the one that I would recommend checking out. Wonderful World off of Detroit Stories. But yeah, I mean, and just another solid release from Alice Cooper. I've got tickets to go see him in October in Nashville. Fingers crossed that we'll get to go to that. But of course, live music coming back, and hopefully by this fall we'll be full swing. And Ace Frehley's opening for him, and I've not got to see Ace ever. I've seen Alice once, but I've never got to see Ace. But so that'll be if I get to see that, that'll be a really good show. But yeah, Alice Cooper Detroit Stories. Check it out. It's definitely worth your time. And then the next two are releases from a band that we all know, and I'm pretty sure that we all should love. I don't know if we all love, but we all should love. And that's the Beatles. And this is their 1967 album, Magical Mystery Tour. Of course, this was just supposed to be an EP of the first 6 songs, and it was going to just be the EP. And then they added on, the singles that were released from that year and made it a full length album. Which I think it works. It's a really great album. This is kind of my favorite era of the Beatles, like Rubber Soul through like the White Album. Is my favorite era of the Beatles, and this is smack dab in the middle of it. So yeah, just really great stuff, and I'm sure you all know it and love it. And like I said, if you don't, you should. and also if you don't, you're wrong. But yeah, the Beatles with Magical Mystery Tour. It's just a really good kind of mid to late '60s psychedelic ish kind of rock. So yeah, good stuff. And speaking of the White Album, I picked that one up too. This is the tail end or the book end of kind of my favorite era of the band. It's a double album, kind of long winded, but I mean, it's most of the songs on here are good, if not great. Of course, Back in the USSR is awesome. Glass Onion, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, Blackbird, I Will, Birthday, which is fun, Helter Skelter, obviously, Revolution, and of course, there is some filler on here, and there is my least favorite Beatles song on here, which is Revolution 9, which hardly really is a song. It's more of like a sound collage, I guess. That's how Wikipedia describes it, so that's what I'm going to use for it. But yes, besides that song, it's still a really good album. Just some really awesome stuff, and of course, this would signal kind of the cracks beginning to show in the band. But of course, they would go on and release a couple more pretty good albums, but nothing as good as that stretch of 4 albums from Rubber Soul to this one, in my opinion, of course. But yeah, just really killer stuff, and yeah, the Beatles' White Album, good stuff. Moving on, I got into a kick of this band, um, kind of the last couple months. I've listened to, well, I liked this band, but then I really started listening to their albums, and I was like, whoa, okay, I actually really like this band. And we're talking about Stone Temple Pilots, and this is their 2001 album, Shangri-La Dee Da. That's I always have to read it because I end up like stumbling over the words there. But this was the last album of their initial run before they split up in 2002 or three. This one came out in 2001. But this one's on Atlantic. This was, this one still did pretty good for them. It's got Days of the Week on it, which is a really good song. Um, just good kind of, I guess, that '90s. I wouldn't call them grunge. They're just more kind of like alt rock kind of sound. But Dumb Love on here is good. Of course, Days of the Week, Hollywood Bitch. Those are probably the 3 best songs. Um, but yeah, what's another good one on here? Uh, Hello, It's Late, I think is pretty good, but it's been a minute since I've listened to this, but because I'm really not on that STP kick, but I mean, it's still fun to put on. It's not my favorite STP release, but it's still solid nonetheless. But yeah, um, Stone Temple Pilots with Shangri-La Dee Da. Yeah, check it out if you're into that kind of stuff. Moving on, this next one is a release from one of those kind of classic, Bay Area thrash bands, and we're talking about Testament with Practice What You Preach. This one came out in '89. Yeah, '89. Also on uh, Atlantic Records. This is it my favorite Testament album? It's pretty damn close. I mean, that those you can't go wrong with really any Testament album. But of course, that early stuff is untouchable. But this is just again really good, solid Bay Area thrash, and of course, it's a classic, and you all know it, you all love it. Of course, Practice What You Preach is awesome, and the ballad, of course, those are the two that most people would know, and those are two of the better songs on the album. Um, but yeah, just a classic from one of the thrash titans, if you will. If there was, you know, that they could have easily been in the Big Four. I don't know how they should have probably blown up bigger than they got. Of course, they're still pretty darn popular, but they never got to the heights of the Big Four, if you will. But still a great band, and they're one of those bands, kind of like Judas Priest, where the newer material is as good, if not better, than the old stuff, which is amazing. Death Angel is another band that's been doing that. Saxon, the list goes on. But they're just one of those bands that they're still putting out great stuff that it's as good as this album. Of course, like I said, this album's great, and everything in the discography is worth listening to. But just a good Bay Area thrash album. Testament with Practice What You Preach. All right, moving on. These next two are from the same band. This is filling in some holes in the collection of this band, and I love this band, and I've really gotten into them in the past couple years, and that is King's X, and this is their 1996 album Ear Candy, and this one's on. Is this one? Oh, this one's on Atlantic too. A lot of it, quite a few Atlantic releases in this video. I knew they were on Metal Blade. I think the next album was on Metal Blade, Tapehead from '98. But this one's on Atlantic, and just really good. This was the follow up to Dogman, which is probably their best album. Of course, that gives it away. I don't like this one as much, but this is still really, really good stuff. King's X doesn't have a bad album. And this is obviously, this one's really solid. Of course, The Train is really good. A Box, Mississippi Moon, 67. Just really solid stuff. And this was kind of, and I love that cover too. But yeah, just a really great album from a great band, and this was right in the middle of that one of my favorite eras from the band. But yeah, King's X with Ear Candy, really good stuff. And continuing with King's X, this is their live album from 2004 off Metal Blade. This one's called Live All Over the Place, and this one's it's 2 CDs, and it's got like 20 something songs on here. Really good stuff. But it's got all just their classics on here. It's got stuff from every album that was before this. Of course, the standouts on here: Groove Machine is awesome, Dogman, Over My Head, of course, Black Like Sunday, Mississippi. And they got an acoustic set on here too, which is really cool, which consists of like The Difference and Mississippi Moon, Goldilocks, among others. Cigarettes is on here, Summerland. Just really, really good. They're a good live band, and this shows it. And yeah, this is definitely worth picking up if you're into King's X. But King's X with Live All Over the Place, really good live album. Moving on, we're going to go. This next one is from a band that I've really grown to appreciate. Well, I've always liked their first 3 albums, but I think really since my friends did a list of this band over on their channel, or my friends over at Disheveled by Dawn did a list of this band a while back, was when I really started to get into this and find a newfound respect for this band. Of course, that list was before I started doing the lists with them, but the band I'm talking about is Wasp, and this is their 4th album from 1989, The Headless Children. Of course, like I said, I've always loved the first 3 albums from them, but I never really bothered to check anything out past it. And of course, I started with the 4th one and have kind of listened to everything else in order since then, and this is actually the first Wasp album I have in my collection. Um, but yeah, it's really great stuff. I know the first time I listened to it, I was kind of like, okay, whatever. And then I picked this album up actually and was like, okay, wow, this is really fucking good. And of course, The Heretic is awesome. The Real Me, which is a cover from The Who, I think. The Headless Children, the title track is awesome. Thunderman, or Thunderhead, Mean Man, uh, Rebel in the FDG. I mean, it's all really good. And this one's like the deluxe edition. It's got 16 tracks with a couple live tracks, Love Machine Live and Blind in Texas Live, which are really good versions. There's the back. There's Blackie and the boys. I've actually met the bass player Johnny Rod before he played a show in the town over from me. It was like a benefit show. He got up. I was really actually pretty young, but got to meet him and he signed like my shirt or my hat or something. And then he signed some of my dad's stuff he had too. But yeah, he was really cool. But yeah, uh, really good album from a really solid band, Wasp, the Headless Children. Great stuff. Moving on, here's another live album from. I've kind of been knocking out everything that this guy has put out with not only his main band but some of his side projects and his solo stuff. And we're talking about Rob Halford with the Halford Band, and this is Live Insurrection, and this was put out in 2002, I believe, 2001. And what's this off of? What I can't find what this is off of. It's too small. But yeah, this is again. It's like just like the King's X live album. It's like 20 something songs. It might even be 30 plus songs. But it's a really good live album. You've got like every song from that first Halford album played live, plus some fight stuff played live, and some Judas Priest stuff played live. So it's really good. Of course, no two on here, thank God, because that project sucked. But just again, a really solid live album. And if you're a fan of Rob Halford, then you should own this. Just really good stuff on here. And yeah, there's the back. Check this shit out, man. Halford Live Insurrection. It's fucking amazing. And continuing with Rob Halford, here's one that I've been putting off getting this album for a really long time, and I see it in stores all the time, and I just never bothered because I just knew it would always be there. Kind of like with when I was picking up British Steel in a past collection update, I was like, oh, it'll be there, But I finally decided to pull the trigger because this is it's top three, if not my favorite Judas Priest album. My favorite one kind of flip flops between two albums, but the album we're talking about is Painkiller from 1990. This album just rips. It slays. It's so fucking amazing. Um, this is probably their heaviest album. Their most ferocious. It's just kicks you in the nuts and does not let up at all. The whole album, it is so damn good. You know, I favorite song off here, of course, Painkiller is awesome, but honestly, I think I like All Guns Blazing just a hair more than Painkiller for my favorite song on this album. But every song's good. I mean, Nightcrawler is amazing. One Shot at Glory, Hell Patrol. I mean, the list goes on. This whole album is start to finish just amazing. And even the bonus track, this is the 2001 reissue, even the bonus track on here, Living Bad Dreams, rules. I don't know if that's from these recording sessions or not because they kind of with the 2001 reissues, they'd put bonus tracks on certain albums that weren't even from those recording sessions, which kind of gets on my nerves a little bit. But I think this one was from the Painkiller sessions, Living Bad Dreams. And it's a really good song. And then there's a live version of Leather Rebel on here too, which rules. But yeah, just a really, just amazing, amazing heavy metal classic. You've all heard this. You all should love it. And of course, this kind of revitalized the band, and they had so much momentum. And then Halford left after this tour cycle. I would have just loved to see what they would have done next with if Halford had stayed in the band. Would they have continued with the momentum from this album and made another really good album, or would they have gone down the same path and made the more groove metal kind of new metal stuff that was starting to get hot by the time they had finished up this album cycle? Who knows? It's still fun to think about. But yeah, just a really great album. Judas Priest with Painkiller. Check it out. All right, now we're going to move on to vinyl, and this first one, it's kind of weird. I'm just going to get it out of the way. I'm not going to talk about it too much because it has been brought to my attention that this is a sketch band, and but I'm still going to acknowledge that I bought it because at the time when I bought it, I didn't know this band was sketchy. But this is eclease with Milano or whatever. I listened to this online and really liked it. And I found it used at a record store about 4 months ago and decided to snatch it up. And then I posted about it earlier this month, and it was brought to my attention in that post that this guy is like a sketchy NS dude, the guy behind this band. So I was like, well, that's a fucking bummer because it's really good music, but I'm never gonna listen to it again. I'll probably end up selling it. Yeah. Just wanted to go ahead and get that one out of the way and acknowledge that I did buy it, and I didn't know at the time that this guy was a prick. But yeah, and I did buy it used, so he didn't make any more money off of it, thankfully. Which is good, I guess. But yeah, let's move on. All right, so this next one is from a guy who, well, this next band had one of their members is a person that you all know. He's involved in the YouTube community, and this is his band, and we're talking about Marty Worm with his and the Glorious Dead. Marty Worm being the guitar player of this band. You all know Marty Worm. I'll still leave a link if you're not subscribed to him. Stop this video right now and check his fucking channel out. The Glorious Dead. This is his project, and what's this album called again? Into Lifeless Shrines. That's right. I found this used too at my local record store, which was weird. I guess, and what was weird, the original of this comes with the CD of it, and there wasn't a CD in here, so I guess whoever bought this just took the CD and then returned the record or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, really awesome death metal. It totally slays, and you should check it out. Of course, Marty's on guitar on this album, and it just totally rips. Awesome stuff. And yeah, I've been listening to this like nonstop since I bought it. It's so good. But yeah, there's Marty right there, and then the rest of the band. Yeah, just really killer stuff. And if you're watching my videos, you probably definitely know who Marty is, and you've definitely heard this and probably own it too. But yeah, The Glorious Dead with Into Lifeless Shrines. Amazing death metal from last year. Check it out. And next up is a record that I found at when I was actually up at my girlfriend's house. We went up to Corbin for the day, and we went to the local record store there called White Rabbit Records, which they just opened up back in September. So if you're ever in Corbin, Kentucky, you should totally check it out because they have small metals selection on vinyl, but a really awesome. They got some really cool stuff in the little metal section that they do have, and this is one of the ones that I found. This is Mayhem with De Mysterious Dom Satanas. You all know this one. Not much more needs to be said. Just classic Norwegian black metal. In fact, this is really the only Mayhem that I like. I've tried to get into the rest, not too hard, but I have tried to get into the rest of their stuff and just really can't. But this album does fucking rule, and of course the live albums with Dead also rule. But I mean, you all know it. Funeral Fog, Freezing Moon, Pagan Fears, Life Eternal, the title track. Just amazing stuff, amazing stuff. An infamous album from an infamous band that we all know, and just a Norwegian black metal classic. And kind of this was the album that shot Norwegian black metal into the mainstream for like just a second, But yeah, great stuff. Mayhem with De Mysterious Dom Satanas. And moving on, we got 3 more records to show. This next one I also found at White Rabbit. And I bought this one because I saw it and I was like, me and my dad really, this is one of those records that me and my dad have really kind of bonded over. And it's just a really special album for me. I do have it on CD, but I was like, okay, it's pretty cheap at this record store, so I'll go ahead and get it on vinyl too. We're talking about Cheap Trick with All Shook Up from 1980. This one followed up Dream Police, which another classic album. But honestly, I prefer this one to Dream Police. This is my favorite Cheap Trick album. They're a great band. I've seen them I think I've seen them 4 times, so it's tied for like the most I've ever seen a band. But of course, they're really great live, and they always play a lot off of this record. They always open with "Stop This Game," which opens this album up, and that song rules. But just an amazing album from a really good rock band, and "Stop This Game." Baby Loves to Rock, World's Greatest Lover, High Priest of Rhythmic Noise is such a weird song, but it's so awesome. What's the other one? Oh, I Love You Honey, But I Hate Your Friends. That song is just so fun, and this album's just fun. It's quirky, it's weird, but it works, and it's just this is a really special album for me, and I'm glad I could find it on vinyl. Cheap Trick with All Shook Up, good stuff. Moving on, this next band was actually discussed in a stream that I was involved in with the guys a couple months ago. It was one of the last ones that I did before I kind of had to step away. But we were talking about this band, and I was like, okay, I have 1 CD from them. I need to kind of check out some more. And so I figured what better album to pick up from this band than this one, and we're talking about Agents of Fortune from Blue Oyster Cult. Of course, this is the one that has Don't Fear the Reaper on it. Everybody knows that song. But that's not the only good song on this one. This album is amazing. This Ain't the Summer of Love is awesome. Let's see. I think, True Confessions is another good one. Extraterrestrial Intelligence or ETI or whatever. That's a great one, but this whole album rules, and it's just some classic kind of 70s hard rock / prog rock. Just really good stuff, and I'm really starting to get into Blue Oyster Cult. They're a really good band. But great stuff. Blue Oyster Cult with Agents of Fortune. And finally, here's one from this was probably the commercial peak for this band uh, in the 80s. Of course, they've got better stuff in the 70s, but this album still rules nonetheless. And that is the Scorpions with 1984's Love at First Sting. Yeah, just it's got all the ones that everybody knows on it. Bad Boys Running Wild, Rock You Like a Hurricane, I'm Leaving You, Big City Nights, Still Loving You. I mean, just ones that you'll always hear on, Sirius Radio and your local hard rock station. I mean, this was probably the big one for them. I prefer the earlier stuff, and of course, I think I do like Blackout, the previous album, better than this one. But still, it's everything up to this album, including this album, fucking rules. I'm not too crazy about anything after this, but yeah, it's still really good nonetheless. Yeah, back's like the same thing, which is weird. Excuse me, but yeah, the Scorpions with Love at First Sting, really great stuff, and yeah, check it out. So that wraps up uh, the first collection update I've done in a really long time. It felt really good to do this, I must say, and I'm just really looking forward to getting back in the swing of things and maybe joining a few streams here and there throughout the summer. What's on the horizon for me? There's a VCLT video that I've had recorded since like March that I've yet to put out from packages that Brian Arkham and Rick over at the Dreadful Minutes sent me. I've got it recorded, and yeah, I'm gonna put this video out first, and then I'm gonna put that one out. So yeah, that's two videos for me right out the gate. I just can't wait to get back involved with the community, and yeah, just keep it metal, guys. Stay safe, and thanks for watching.